But now you are saying, no, this was no an overlap. It has brought institutional harmony. So I think we need to go in educational. You need to educate this committee that please, this is how we are going to be better, and this is how we have been losing, because even we haven't know what we are going to save as a country, and then if you recruit again, as you have said, how much is going to be? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Let me have Honorable Abed, Honorable Stella, Honorable Asinasi, Honorable Mumuza, my only Afande, then Honorable Jennifer, in that order.
Thank you.
Oh, my Sudir of Parliament, Honorable Roberto Migade.
Honorable Chair, the rules of procedure of the Parliament, Rule 118(2) stipulates, and I want to read. I can start with 1. A bill introduced in the House shall be accompanied by a certificate of financial implications issued by the Minister responsible for finance. Right Honorable Chair, I have with me something that is headlined the certificate of financial implication. But 2 says the certificate of financial implication issued under sub-rule 1 shall indicate the expense of revenue and expenditure over the period of not less than 2 years after the coming into effect of the bill when passed. Honorable Chair, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the expense of revenue and expenditure according to the rules. I believe that's what is making every member ask that question, what is going to happen? We cannot consider a bill when we are not aware about the details of the financial implication. I have read, I'm very surprised that the Minister of Finance decided we expect figures here, not a story. This is a story. You cannot sit in finance and write us a story. We want the figures, what revenue, what expenditure, so that we can compare with what has been existing. I believe it is the same. I'm only asking this question using the rules, but I've heard the members ask the same question. We want the Minister of Agriculture to go back to finance and give us the expenditure and the revenue. And Honorable Chair, you remember we insisted in the first meeting that we want the Minister of Agriculture. It has always been our protocol. Before we meet agencies, we first meet the Minister of Agriculture. And you required it on that day. The Minister was nowhere to be seen. No, you were invited because your PS was with us. The PS started going in corridors, that is mobilizing ministers. You have 4 ministers. The PS was in corridors, Honorable Chair, because I attended. Yes.
I respect this committee. Whenever I am summoned, I come. If I'm unable, I reach to the chairperson. The story for last week, I was told, is that my team had come to appear before Park, where I am not wanted. Then while here, some arrangement in Parliament changed, and they said leave Park go to the committee. We didn't have any, we did not know prior, really. So I shouldn't be taken as if we snubbed the committee. Just to clarify that.
Okay, then, Honorable Chair, we asked the PS in that meeting that we want studies on which you based what informed you to make a decision that you want to rationalize agency A and leave the other. We want that study because we have been waiting for that information for the whole week. We haven't seen the information. What study did you base on to rationalize DDA? What study did you base on to rationalize Uganda Coffee Development Authority? And all the other agencies, the NADS, we want those studies so that we are informed. We are not going to go on the floor of Parliament and just say the team came and simply spoke to us. We must justify whatever we want to inform Parliament using those studies. Number two, number three, we asked the PS, did you do any benchmarking? Because we have in the region, for instance, Ethiopia, they have ever rationalized the coffee and tea authority. And after a few years, they discovered that what they did was a catastrophe. They did a policy reverse. They went back, and even Kenya, here, our neighbors, they went back to having these agencies independently. Did you do any benchmarking? Because these are in the same region, and we are competing with them. Papua New Guinea, for them, they have even gone ahead. They have a minister in charge of coffee and palm oil. There is a specific minister for that. That's how serious they want to take coffee and palm oil. So, do you have any benchmarking so that you lay it also on the table? Because it will inform us. So that we don't start to think that someone sat somewhere in the office and looked at some of these agencies, and when you don't like them, you just say this one will go, this one will go. Because we are working on behalf of the people of Uganda. We have, Chair, we have a history, and we want to learn from that history. We were here when people were advising government to take away UCB, privatize UCB. Now the president, we have had him several times, is looking for a bank for government. But we made a mistake and gave away our own bank with structures. I don't know who owns the Cham Tower, I don't know. Those were structures of UCB. Honorable Miguel is telling me, maybe they will inform us. Those who are in government, who are in executive, they should inform us. So, Honorable Chair, unless we are provided with information, we don't want to make mistakes. And we want to remind each one of us, this country is not only for us who are seated here. It is for our children, it is for our grandchildren. When you are making a decision, don't make a decision based on, because I'm going to be here the next 20 years old. There are others who are coming. That's why we found it there. Honorable Babiha, the one who did all the infrastructure which you people are taking away. This man is already gone, but he's the one who laid the foundation on which agriculture is. That gentleman from Tolo. When we are making our decisions, we should look at Uganda now and Uganda in the future. I want to rest my case. Honorable Chair, the first document I want to see is a document according to Rule 1182, the revenue and expenditure. It is a very, very important document to inform this committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Honorable Isodo Stella.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mine is not a long one, but I am so challenged. I'm not seeing the reasons for the rationalization coming out strong. And I'm also asking a question. Is this a brainchild of MAIF? This issue of rationalizing these agencies under MAIF, is it your brainchild or you've been influenced by external forces? I have just seen a structure here. In this structure, we are carrying the whole coffee development authority to become a division in the ministry. We are carrying CD, cotton to become a division. We are also carrying DDA. I look at it, when you look at the structure, it's already very heavy. We came from decentralization and we were enjoying the benefits of decentralization. We are going back to centralize. Minister, Honorable Minister, we are through chair, we are looking for money. You're even telling us this quarter there is zero allocation. My question is, as you carry CDO or coffee or the diary, are you carrying them with all their staff to become a division in the ministry? If you're not carrying all of them, what happens to those that you're not going to absorb? And this is our concern. I also put my voice to what Honorable Dr. Abed said. How can you carry the statements from the defects of the law? Something like from the defects of the law. You carry them and you make me understand this is a financial implication statement. This will be brainwashing this committee. I also saw this structure. I don't know who produced it. It is not authored, but it is saying 2023. Where were we 2023 to discuss these agencies? And now we have 1 day to rush to the floor of Parliament. Who is fooling who? Is this your brainchild? If it is your brainchild, why the rush? Why are you giving us 2 days to analyze? What happens to these people who are going to lose their jobs? We are talking about losing jobs and then we are adding more work to the ministry. So I agree with other presenters. We are, as a Committee of Agriculture, we shall not be rushed. This is for our children and for our great-grandchildren. I beg to submit.
Honorable Asinas.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I thank the Minister for the statement. My name is Nyakato Asinas, the Shadow Minister for Agriculture. Right, Honorable Chair, the other day when I was as I was serving on the Committee of Natural Resources as the Shadow Minister for Energy, Ministry of Energy came up with the issue of REA, rationalizing it under the Ministry of Energy. And the same things that the Minister is telling us is the same reason that Ministry of Energy was giving us, that they wanted to cut costs, but they also wanted to be more effective to deliver on the issue of electricity. As we talk now, we are members of Parliament. We have not seen the electricity come to our constituencies. We have not seen the electricity come to our districts. And today, as we talk, REA is in court with government, the former staffs of REA. Reason being, government was not prepared for this process. They turned down the staffs. They never compensated because some of them, the staffs, their contracts were still running. They never accommodated some of those staff in the ministry. And the criteria under which some of the staffs were being accommodated in the ministry was based on technical how well you are connected with those people in the ministry. So my question to the minister is, do you want us to go back to the same process that the Ministry of Energy has caused this? Because all this cost goes to government. Government is the one to cater for all the costs of court. Then secondly, the other day we had the Minister of Fisheries here. She was crying under which the situation she's being treated in that Ministry of Agriculture, under that directorate. She was even telling this committee that even for her to get fuel to go to the field, she has to call her to reach out to well-wishers. If you're a member of Parliament, you have an issue in your constituency as far as the fisheries department is concerned, you have to facilitate the minister. And we well know that as Parliament, we allocate money for that directorate. So how well can the Minister of Agriculture convince this committee that if these agencies are incorporated under the ministry, they are going to be more effective, they are going to deliver, they are going to do wonders more than what they have failed to deliver today? Sadly, Madam Chair, the issue of tea. As we speak today, tea is under the Ministry of Agriculture. you can see right now the farmers have brought a petition to the speaker. They are in the meeting with the speaker over how the tea price has gone too low, from a kilogram of 7,200 shillings. Most of these farmers have mortgaged their properties to the banks to go into that business. And we well know that it's only the government which takes their tea outside, not even normal local Ugandans. So, Madam Chair, they have failed to manage that sector of tea when it is under their ministry. They have failed to come up with a tea policy. They have failed to come up with a regulation. They have failed to come up with a law to help out these farmers from being exploited by some of the people who call themselves investors. So how well can they convince this committee that when some of these agencies, like coffee now, which has put Uganda as a country at a world level, almost number 3 in the whole world in terms of producing quality coffee, very good coffee, when it is under an agency, and an agency which has been given just Miyagi in the budget of agriculture. And finally, Madam Chair, as we speak now, I saw the budget framework paper. Almost 70%, which is about 1 trillion, it is external funding. As government of Uganda, ours is around 800 billion. The one we are allocating to the Ministry of Agriculture. Since we passed that law of homosexuality, most of the internal communities are pulling out their funding from Uganda. Can the minister assure this committee that the Miyagi 800 billion plus, and that's totaling to 1.8 trillion, that they are going to accommodate all these agencies, their staff, the others? And finally, he said when these agencies are being incorporated under the ministry, they will effectively deliver. They have failed to deliver on most of it, because now me as a member of parliament, it is just months when I've been attacked these committees. In the agriculture sector being the major contributing factor economy to this country, when you go back to our districts, we cannot feel the Minister of Agriculture in our constituencies. Even when you have these minimal departments, directorates under your ministry, we have failed to see, for instance, the extension officers delivering. We have failed to see most of these government projects under the Ministry of Agriculture being delivered to our districts. So, Madam Chair, I beg, with due respect, for the Minister of Agriculture and the technical team to go back and think twice. Not everything that is resolved in cabinet is right. We hold it to the electorates, and I also believe that the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Frank Tumwebaze, is also a member of Parliament, like many of us. Is personally held responsible to the electorates who elected him to give this process more time, because these agencies that we want to incorporate under the ministry are very key factors, key sectors, key agencies which has contributed big to this economy. And Madam Chair,
finally, Honorable, you have made your point.
I request that we strongly reject the certificate of financial implication which has been brought to us, because it's just a sketchy document, just a written letter, not even a certificate of financial implication. And also the government should give time to this committee to go and benchmark, so that we are informed, we give a very strong informed decision to why we should rationalize. I beg to submit, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable colleague, and I want to thank you for your prayer. This certificate of financial implication doesn't hold water. We are being courteous to our ministry. Otherwise, some committees have suspended their meetings because of this. There is nothing here. So we shall follow it to the root. Let's just, yes, Honorable Mumuza. Honorable Mumuza, then Honorable Afande.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to repeat what my colleagues talked about. I had an issue on tea, but Honorable Nyakato has mentioned it very well. I'm from Chenjojo, where we are tea farmers. As you heard, factories are closing, and the tea is under the Maif. So we are not getting a good answer from Maif how they're handling it. The fear, Honorable Minister, the fear most of us have and our people is how the Maif is currently handling things. If they are, as the chair said, if they are struggling with the few things they have, if they are struggling with tea, what if we take their coffee? So those we have to assure us really, to satisfy us that where we are going, we are very safe. Otherwise, people have a lot of fear of moving from point A to B. To Madam Chair, we have a problem. For example, some few projects under Maif, like ACDP, we had them here some time back. People who were supplied in Maif 2-3 years ago have not been paid under ACDP. Even the projects under that program, some of them in the constituencies, we have been monitoring them in the districts. You find they are not performing very well. We were in Abim some time back. We saw we went there to launch a program. It's very dumb. Some 2021. We again went there this I think last year. But since we left that time 2 years ago, there was only groundbreaking. Up to now, 2 years later, no project. So if they are really too slow on everything, too slow on these projects under Maif, how are we sure that when we add them more work, how would they handle? We would all wish to be moving very quickly to Maif and enjoy the services. But the current fear we have is what we have so far, they are too slow and there are problems. Even under mechanization, we were monitoring what we saw. Madam Chair, you know everything. Then finally, maybe we have some, for me, my thinking would be that we have some under coffee, under UCD that have been trying. So if we are seeing the tea is struggling, what about now the new emerging crops? We have some new emerging crops where the country would make a lot of money. For example, we have apples. We have been importing a lot of apples in the country, and this country we can produce our own apples. We have macadamia. We have macadamia. We have cashew nuts. Some time back, the minister was promoting cashew nuts, Maif, but how they abandoned it. What happened, I don't know. So this issue of not being consistent with projects, with programs, you bring something, you introduce it, then you withdraw, you come back, not be consistent really. What happened to cashew nuts? Up to now we are importing cashew nuts. And this country, we can do a lot of cashew nuts in this cattle corridors, all of them, the same arid areas, even including Karamoja, they can do cashew nuts. Tanzania is supplying us cashew nuts here, and we are buying cashew nuts in the supermarkets, which are all imported, when we can easily produce them here so easily. So if my youth is not consistent with some projects, how are we sure now they will be consistent with what we will give them? We have the new house avocado now, the avocado industry. Madam Chair, I happen to be the chairperson of the Federation of avocado farmers in Uganda.
Please allow the member to submit.
For example, Madam Chair, Mexico alone, Mexico is earning $3.5 billion US dollars. 3.5, not million, but billion US dollars. This country has more land, land is fertile, good climate than even Mexico. Would be number one, would be getting $2 billion, $3 billion US dollars. But now we are a bit somehow comfortable that we are moving on with the new this year house avocado program. So our fear is if we go to the ministry, one of the minister, will my avocado survive, or it will also follow the issue of tea, or whatever, and then it disappears. I thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable. Can I have Honorable Afande Sam Kavuma?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and your Vice, and all members of this committee. And I want to thank the Ministry and the Minister for their statement, although I hadn't come, but I think it was a good one. Madam Chair, you stopped us from repeating what other people have already mentioned.
I am going to allow the Afande to repeat.
But repetition means really emphasis, because these are same issues, and we need, by the time we take a decision, to really understand all of them. So we may sound repetitive.
I have opened up, Afande. Just make your point.
My point, my small 2 points are, this animal code rationalization began maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and my question wouldn't really very much go to the minister because he had not joined the same ministry, but at least he has the technical people who have been around, but I also trust his intelligence. He's very fast at grasping things. I wanted to know, apart from the cabinet decision, apart from any influence from anywhere to understand whether you, the actors, the drivers of the Ministry of Agriculture, whether it was also part of your brain that this thing should happen, or it was imposed by some external forces, and you are here, we are all here to implement what was imposed. How do you see? Because like a colleague here did say, we had our ministries doing their ministries' work. Then all of a sudden, these authorities came on board. They have been running, their work. Then all of a sudden, we again go back, according to you, because we want honest, so that when we take a decision, we are with you. It's not about cabinet or parliament, but for us, we shall see. But, so I wanted actually to get that one from you, how you feel about it, whether you had detected this problem or whether it was imposed on you. The other point is, if we are to let some agencies go as proposed by the bill, how do you want us to do it? Can we wake up and put a deadline that by come next month 15th, everything should have been changed hands, or gradual, depending on the priorities, on the sensitivity of some of them, on the ongoing projects, we can say, yes, we allow the programs, but this is how we want it, gradual, Thank you so much.
Thank you. Honorable members, I will pick the others later.
Thank you, Chair. I would like the Honorable Minister to acknowledge, together with the members in this House, that some parts of this country are being misadvised to take on certain crops like tobacco that has lagged them behind. And in particular, I want to talk about West Nile. We are really misadvised. Yeah, I've not mentioned who. Yeah, we were really misadvised, and the tobacco crop has done a lot of disservice to our people. Now that coffee, cocoa, and certain other crops have been introduced in this country, and West Nile has started impressing these crops, and now you want to bring coffee, or to repeal or merge or do away with the coffee and other crops that our people of West Nile have started impressing. I want to ask, are you doing this intentionally to let our people down, or to let them be in poverty constantly? Or why are you doing this to our people? Honestly, I thank you.
Information to her.
Yes.
West Nile farmers right now, they even have
Chair, Shadow Minister. Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I wanted to give her information that the West Nile farmers, they have a petition here over their tobacco payments, which has taken over 5 years. They have never been paid. And these companies, when they are coming they make MOUs with government that in case they fail to pay, government can be held personally responsible. So is the tobacco also under Ministry of Education. They are failing to do what? To agriculture. They are failing to do what?
Thank you. Honorable Roberto.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the Honorable Frank Tumewas I've known for some time. I know wouldn't support this rationalization in the way it is. The one I've known for some time.
Honorable colleagues, can we listen? I've also known him for a very long time.
But I know...
As a very principled person.
But I know there is a collective responsibility. And actually some of the ministers passed behind there and said, please don't support this, but I don't want to be on camera. It's because it's very bad, but that shows that actually there wasn't adequate consultation. So, Chair, my questions are: one, saving is being talked about. Actually, when we interacted with the Minister of Public Service the other day, says there's going to be saving over 900. He said 900 billions from the whole rationalization. It was talking about 900 billions. And now that we have the Minister of Agriculture here, we don't have public service, we don't have works, we have one for agriculture. My question would be, are we sure that all the saving which is going to be made from rationalization of agencies under MAIF, is that saving coming back to MAIF or going into other? Because it doesn't help me saving at my home, and the saving is not going to educate my children, but it's going to educate those of the neighbor. Then to the areas. We have received many petitions over a long period of time, and people had hope. And we have been in meetings where the PS saying, I don't know, here, those areas, I don't know. Now we are handing over all those people who are aggrieved with the agencies where they supplied to MAIF. Now all of them will have to go to the PS who has been turning them away. And the Honorable Minister, my worry is we have loans. The most poorly performing loans are those under MAIF. And I presume that those under MAIF are under the PS and the minister. They are the worst performing loans, because I'm also Deputy Chairperson, National Economy. So I expect situations actually to worsen. We have also received grants to NARO, UCDA, and the others. And some donor agencies are unwilling to give grants to government mainstream, but very ready to give grants to agencies. Because there is some level of trust and limited political interference. That's what they presume. And actually, in some loans that we have approved, in the agreement is actually tied to the implementing agency. It has to be this. So how are we going to handle such challenges? Then the other issue, Honorable Minister, I don't know which I've not looked at the structure, but I don't know which titles are going to be given to the former chief executive officers. I don't know which title, but Honorable General Kavuma will know. In the recent meeting we had somewhere, there was a meeting of mayors. In the developed countries, a mayor is a very big person. And here, the chairperson, LS5 chairperson, is a very big person compared to the mayor. So when they went for the LS5 chairperson, led a group of mayors, and they had a meeting in the US. So the chairperson was meant to be part of the people attending, and sat there because he said, chairperson, this must be from a village somewhere there. So, so the naming of now, for example, the one who is going to head, for example, coffee. Which name are we, which title are we giving this person? Because at the end of the day, there's going to be a table, an international table, where these people sit. And in the structure, I don't know how you have catered for it, but it is very important, because it is at that level that actually you negotiate. So those are my worries, Honorable Minister. But I want to emphasize that what Honorable Ambassador has said. I've been in meetings and I've already the inefficiency in the ministry, not in the minister, but in the ministry. And I've seen Minister of Fisheries. I've seen her twice. The first one, she was pleading with the Prime Minister, please, my vehicle keeps breaking down. Please, at least let one of your vehicles help me move. And the meeting was here. So even in the ministry, the PS and whatever wouldn't help. And that's the minister. Then the other meeting, the one which was last week in a conference hall, the same minister was complaining about other things in the ministry. So if ministers are complaining before these mergers, then what is going to be the level of complaint after we have merged? Thank you very much.
In that order.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Mine is very brief, about 1 or 2 points. Number one, I would wish to say this. In most cases, I always think that these ministers, when they go to sit in the cabinet, they would always wait for the president to decide on something, and nobody can give him an explanation and the repercussion behind that. In future, if Honorable Minister can take this information to cabinet.
Procedure. Yes, Honorable. Madam Chair, I want your guidance. The person holding was just been speaking before me, not a member of cabinet, but is ably telling us how cabinet is doing its business. Is she in order to allude to cabinet business when she's not a member of cabinet? I thank you.
Honorable member, I think the honorable member has heard, and she'll now proceed in a proper way. Honorable, continue.
I didn't say I'm a member of cabinet, but I was just giving an advice. My point is like this. Let me finish. Madam Chair.
You are protected, Honorable.
Thank you.
And Honorable Enoch, stop over smiling at the member. Allow her make her point. Yes.
I was now coming with a suggestion like this to Honorable Minister that in future, if a very important issue like this come about, it would be important to bring it to the committee first. You gather all this information that you have got, so that when you go to the cabinet, you really speak the mind of the committee and the people whom you are going to deal with. This is my thinking, not that I am a minister, I'm a cabinet minister. Two, I just wanted you to tell us the yardstick you use to choose Naro and Nagrik. The other information that I wanted to say is that you are saying that you are going to recruit more staff, and yet we already have this staff which we are going to lay them off. Why don't you absorb them instead of thinking of recruiting more? Finally, what are you going to do with the assets of these entities? Thank you.
Honorable Esther.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm late for coming in late, but I was held in the charm, and I missed to hear the presentation for the minister. But all the same, this issue of rationalization has been here. It has been around. Honorable Chair, my take in this, and it goes to the minister, is that we've dwelt much on qualitative at the expense of quantitative. We need to know the expected staffing accompanied by the saving in monetary terms. What we need to know are the numbers in this equation. Two, Chair, as government, because of course it does not go only straight to the Minister Maif, but even other ministries. How prepared is the government in the laying off of the staff, given the fact that we have people who have worked with this country for so long, and up to now, they've not been paid. We've all heard about the Uganda Leyre staff of Uganda Leyre who were laid off some time back, but up to now, they've not been compensated. How ready are we? Because, of course, people who are going to be laid off are more than the staff of Uganda Leyre. How prepared are we? Thirdly, Honorable Minister, Mechanization Center under MAIF has issues in operations. Water for production has issues. How ready are we? How prepared are you to handle this new era of rationalization? And lastly, last Friday, I was in Jinja in a conference with General Kavma, where it was alluded that Bugweri district, Jinja district, and Luka district, where I come from, the most degraded districts. But when MAIF came in to rescue the situation, it did not consider any of those districts. Honourable Minister, what is the criteria that MAIF uses if at all the research has it that those are the most degraded and nothing has been done? How prepared are you to handle this mantle of rationalization? I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Esther. I think those are all. Maybe the deputy has something. Then I'll just make a comment and allow the minister and his team. Yes. Oh, I recognize the presence of colleagues who joined when we had already started. And I want to give Honorable Member for Sembabule time to raise our concern.
Mine is one. I'm sorry, Chair, for coming late. I had a patient home. My question, I'm sorry if anybody asked it. It's about, again, I asked the same team from the ministry last time. Now that your bigger team is here, about the brains in this country. People whom the country have invested in to go for further studies. And now they are going to be restructured. Have you profiled them, bearing in mind that you will have people who are going to retire next year and the other years? Have you profiled these people, probably under 30, under 40, so that if there is need, you are going to call them back into government for them to benefit their government? Because many of them were paid for by government. I saw this happen when restructuring was starting. I was working as a sub-county chief. And government laid off people who were resourceful. And the other years, they invited people who were not even just freshers from campus. So have you profiled those people so that even when they go back in the communities, government will be able to utilize them on a later date? I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chair.
Thank you so much, Chair and honorable colleagues, for your submission, and mainly the Minister. Amidst your busy schedules, you accepted to meet us. We are very grateful as a committee on reasons that there were other unanswered questions that members were asking among themselves, and even the PS and his team couldn't respond to, and even the agencies couldn't respond to. Chair, if I go back to the defects of the current existing laws that form this opinion of rationalization, one was salary disparity. And I'm wondering why the ministry or cabinet could come with this ethic, I could say ethic reasoning, and also
a drastic measure to address salary disparity by rationalizing. Yet, government has the capacity to mainstream this by giving a scaling according to qualification across board. Two, about mandates and duplications in functions. Honorable Minister, I know you and I've known you for long. And also I would like to thank you for your honest submission here. You gave him the positivity of rationalization, and you also allayed in your fears, and you also gave us a task on what to do in order to work on those fears that the ministry is having. And if I see the structures, the proposed structures that will be put under the ministry, I don't see the issue of savings, because these are very big divisions that automatically will even absorb in almost all the workers that were in these agencies, because they need different program officers aligned to their specialty. They need secretaries, they need office attendants, because they cannot share offices. And you'll find that what we are saying we are saving is not in reality. Two, to me, and I have to be honest, because I'm honest like you, Honorable Minister, like the chair, and also like the chair. Honestly, the initiators of this rationalization didn't do it in good faith. These initiators are enemies of this NRM government. And if we try to trace, they are the same people that brought in the issue of rationalizing cooperatives, UEB. Cotton is not performing well because the spinning mills, the what, was absorbed into somewhere that we don't know up to now. Now, these are enemies of this country, because as a country, and I love Uganda more, as a country we have a target. In coffee we have a target. And I'm seeing coffee is being put under crop production. Yet this crop production department in the ministry, honestly, should be the one that should be rationalized. Because if we see its impact, it's not being felt anywhere. And the minister, I know you are thinking about this, if you assess them. And now, the main gold mine that we have, like coffee, is being taken under this. These are not thinkers in the ministry, they are the one wasting government's money. By the time we strengthen, like UCDA, they started performing. And it has even brought appetite to the rest of the country, like us in the north. We are now having hope in coffee. People are now planning. Like last time when we met your technical team, good enough your undersecretary is here. We asked, what about the rest that have already embraced coffee growing? In order for us to reach our target of producing 20 million bags. We said, now we have enough coffee. Is here. We have enough coffee. And now why don't we maintain the coffee plantations that we have? And for those who want, should what? Buy. Is that really fairness? The greater north has embraced this. The rest have managed to produce coffee because they were supported. Now the greater north have to buy. Is that a national character in this thinking? Now, are we having a projection thinking? Olive oil, due to climate change, is no longer yielding the way it used to be. Now the next oil that the world is heading to is as avocado. Are we thinking as thinkers for the future of this country? for Uganda to be a leading country in a early preparation to produce enough as avocado so that we be among the top producers of the alternative oil the world is going to use. And now they want to merge these agencies. And two, there are these are agencies that are really giving some feedback to the Treasury. NTR, if you observe, DDA, what does it help the rest of the world to trust in the milk of Uganda? That's why we have the Algeria market. Last time we were here with you, we were saying, why don't we go to Niger? Because Algeria produce and give to Niger. And we were really pushing that the government should go to Niger. We start supplying direct. We want to expand our market. But there are some people who are thinking just with, I don't know, their interests. I think God should do something to them because they are not having good faith for this country. And Honorable Minister, I know your inner God-created character. On that you are in an office that you cannot say something. But in your inner heart, you are understanding what we are meaning. And as we love, we are putting to stake 80% of the population. We are putting at stake the backbone of the economy of this country. This is a very sensitive ministry. These are very sensitive agencies. For us, we are now saying, now, I wanted the initiators of this rationalization. Which agency have now fulfilled its use? We want to know. So that we also do our assessment. Because now what we are enjoying as a country is the work of these agencies. Minister Maif, good enough, you are just appointed. I don't know whether this is a technical problem in the ministry. They are failing us. The only department that is making Maif to be seen is mechanization. That also has issues. We feel so bad when the president is talking in rallies with a lot of excitement and people are laughing, saying, you see Museveni speak without shame. Because there's nothing on the ground. Those who are feeding the president with information, they are lying and at the end of the day putting the nation at stake. Because maybe this rationalization, they have justified it to the president. Yes, but it's not reality. It's not the fact on the ground. And as the representative of the people, we don't want this country to die with our signatures. We don't want, I love my country, I love my government, and I cannot see it dying when I'm seeing. I will speak, and I say this for God and my country.
Very much, Honorable Deputy Chair. I think it is now time for the Minister to respond to the concerns raised. But I also want to appreciate you, Honorable Minister, for the fears that you have in some of these things, as you had already said. I want to know, Honorable Minister, we are committed to the coffee roadmap, and the President signed it launched it in 2017. And we expect as a country to produce 20 million bags by 2030. Vietnam, which is now number 2 in the whole world, learned about coffee from us. And what we are intending to achieve in 2030, Vietnam achieved it in 2015. I have seen here what the Ministry of Public Service is trying to propose of rationalizing coffee production, cotton production, under the Department for Crop Production and Protection. One of the things that we will want before we make a recommendation on anything, we would like, Honorable Minister, to get a submission on the achievements of that department from the budget allocation that they have always been getting. what are your achievements out of your own budget? What have you achieved? And we also wanted to know, Honorable Minister, you are so passionate about many things. I'm sure even about the crops under your charge. Did you try to find out from Ministry of Public Service why they should think the money-making agencies should be rationalized? What was their thinking? That the cash crops now should be rationalized under a department under the Ministry of Agriculture. What was their reasoning? I tend to believe that there's something against this government. There's somebody against this government who has bewitched us. That we move one step ahead and come back 4 steps backwards. That is why some of the countries have been able to overtake us in some of these things. So, Honorable Minister, members have raised a lot of concerns, and I think this is now time for you to respond to these concerns, and we want to know that Department for Crop Production. How prepared are you to take over the objectives of the coffee roadmap? Those are briefly my concerns, in addition to all the concerns that the members have raised. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the sentiments of members, because at the end of the day, something not yet there is a tendency to fear the unknown. And your concern is driven by service delivery. We all represent people. But I'll just give you a broad explanation on, like somebody said, what was the criteria to rationalize this and leave X and retain Y? That's operational. But let me tell you what we discussed in Cabinet, I think 5 years ago, when this matter started. Honorable Esther could remember. I was a Minister of ICT then. So Cabinet looked at the general principle. It is a fact some agencies duplicate one another. It is a fact across government. Even in Maif, because when NADS was still distributing seedlings, you would find also the ministry distributing something related. NADS is giving coffee halas, UCD is doing the same. So that is this general principle that people came up with and petitioned the president. That ministries and departments and parliament is complaint of lack of budgets, resources. But you are scattering the little you have. Then a concern came up, the administration part. If you have an accounting officer, you have the procurement committee, you have the transport department for fleet management, you have the same administrative structures in NADS, in CDO, in UCDA, in COCTU is the Tribal Council, and any other. So people were alarmed by this. So they were saying, how come before these agencies came up, there was government running? Honorable Buanakas moved out. When Babiha was minister, actually people quoted Babiha. If I may bring up that example, they said the Ministry of Agriculture under Babiha never had these agencies. How come they were vaccinating the entire country from Karamoja to Kisoro?
Information.
Well, I'm just giving, please, let's just...
I want to give you information. It was a UPC government, not Babiha.
Well,
yeah, so
thank you.
Honorable Member, I had not even allowed you.
It was the UPC government, yes. That's why it collaborates very well with NRM. That's why there is some... Thank you, Max. Thank you, Honorable. So these arguments, Madam Chair and colleagues, before it came to sector by sector, these arguments built up the momentum for rationalization. We all got convinced honestly in cabinet. Not that there was somebody influencing us. So, the lead ministry, which you may call a competent authority, just like you say Ministry of Works is a competent authority for roads, Ministry of Defense is a competent authority for security. So the lead ministry here became Ministry of Public Service. They are the ones who have the expertise to analyze functions, to analyze duplication, to analyze cadreship development in not the other cadreship, but the public service cadreship. So Ministry of Public Service was tasked. That's why it first came as an omnibus law, until you guided and demanded that we split this into sector by sector. So they did a study. Unfortunately, I don't have it to hand over to you. They can either summon them and they present it, or you allow me, demand it from them. So they studied all our ministries independently. Why did they do it? They knew we were resisting internally. They studied it independently, and it came to cabinet. There were heated discussions since 2017. I remember I was the Minister for ICT. That's when the rationalization started. So there was argument for this, argument for that. This one can join this one can join the other. So finally, and I remember when it came to agriculture, I was not even the Minister for Agriculture. The argument there was, are you going to have an authority for every crop? If you have for DDA, milk, are you going to have for beef? Are you going to have for cheese, for poultry, for halal meat? These were the arguments. So I'm now on the principle. So then now we moved. PDM came in. Now this speaks to the argument that some of them have lived their usefulness. PDM came in. When PDM came in, which you are all conversant with, it took away all the functions of UCDA. It took away the functions of NADS. Budgets, because when budgets go,
Honorable colleagues, listen to the minister. I don't expect you to cheer. We are not in a campaign.
So when budgets go, the agency remains redundant. So that's how they recommended that NADS, that DDA, that COC2 for flies. That thing is for flies. It's for the people who fight those things. Can go back to the ministry and strengthen the ministry. Because the argument was, what are ministries for? If we say the agencies are doing it better, then what are ministries for? So these are the issues that came up. So colleagues, my summary on that, the assumption is that, and it's not an assumption, it's a must do, is that we must build the efficiency of the government structures to do what the agencies were doing. And that's why there are those proposed structures. So the fears from the staff are valid because they fear losing jobs. Yes, so I wouldn't be worried or rebuke my staff that they came here and complained because they are worried that they will not get jobs. But of course, if efficiency is achieved, the dividends will be bigger for the entire citizens, including them. Honestly, if we are able to save money, and that's why I would appeal to this committee. I don't know what decision you will take, but let's say if it passes, you insist that to the Ministry of Finance, let the savings made per sector remain in that sector. Let it remain there, such that it adds on the development budget. Yes, Honorable Maxwell is worried about the inertia in government. Of course, the government will have to wake up. It will have to wake up to, if you replace Umeme, you must do better than Umeme. If you replace UCDA, you must have crop-specific extension staff. This is what we look forward to achieve. Then, Madam Christine, coffee sector deals with research. It has well-trained people. Are we not going to lose them? Yes and no. Yes and no. The coffee research station Nakori, partly it's mothered by Naro, but supported by UCDA. So we would have to struggle to ensure that the support UCDA was giving them from the cess, the percentage of the exports of coffee, we now mainstream it in Maif. But fortunately, the research there, Nakore, the mother of the coffee research, is an institute of Naro. And Naro stayed. The minister then, Honorable Sempage, and his team made a case, and Naro was exempted. The priority, the policy of government is that all technical people from these agencies will be given the first priority to fill the vacancies. What I'm not sure of are the administrators. If you've been an HR in DDA, I cannot guarantee. But the position of government is, if you've been a lead scientist in coffee, you will be the first priority in the new structure. That is the position as we passed in cabinet. And colleagues, when we pass things in cabinet, you stand by those things. If you don't agree with them, then you should resign. So I cannot say I'm departing from cabinet position. Those ministers who say oppose are traitors. Tell them to resign. Yes. Because if you don't agree with something, you better, because you registered your disagreement in cabinet. If you lose, you lose. Yes. NADS, there's no doubt NADS did a great job with OWC. NADS intervened in so many areas and gave machinery. DDA developed the milk value chain very well. So the pledge I can give you is that we shall build from their achievements and move on together with you. Yeah. If we find a problem there, policy reversal is not an admission of wrong. It's an admission of lessons learned. So let's not fear the unknown. We may get somewhere. You can even see banks. Banks have closed branches all over the country. Not that they are not going to serve the people, but they are being innovative. So if government pulls out from these agencies, then we have to be innovative. We have to re-engineer the bureaucracy and service. Maybe another issue, colleagues, I want to interest you in. You could also summon the Public Service Commission. Because the Public Service Commission is the mother of something called standing orders. Okay? Which govern civil servants. Now, why people prefer agencies? These agencies are not governed by those standing orders. Yes, you could demand that we look at the standing orders, how they will facilitate a new shift, a new paradigm shift of efficiency, of customer care, not the old thinking of a bureaucrat in office and citizens coming to the bureaucrat. So you could look at that, because that's a challenge if we continue to have the same civil service culture. Salary disparities, yes. What was bringing the salary disparities, Honorable Brother Anthony? In agencies, boards determine salary of the staff. And in government, the public service has a structure. So that was the governance mismatch. In some cases, you could find...
Madam Chair. Thank you very much, Chair. Are we proceeding well without the certificate of financial implication?
At this point, it is like being served food. Then you first eat. When you're about to complete, then you say, why did you serve us this bad food?
Without sauce.
We are almost concluding. Other things we shall handle.
Thank you, Madam. And you can freely invite Mzee Matia to explain the certificate. He will explain it. So I was explaining, Madam Chair and colleagues, so the board is determining the salary. The civil service has a standard structure. Now, sometimes you could find, like now when the scientists in government were increased, it was never automatic for the agencies. Because of the standing orders, I'm telling you, the governance regimes, not regime NRM UPC, no, but the regimes of governance at the ministry level are different. So that harmonization also helps. It could be a disadvantage to the people in government, or it could be a disadvantage to the people in the other side. Yes, you raised a very important point. Proliferation. A bit alarmist. And where were we? You see, there is one agency that excited the country, URA. When the Department of Customs was still under finance, I think the country was collecting 3 or 5 billion. So when URA was given autonomy and supported, our revenue, domestic revenue, increased. So the culture now, people then knew that everything with agencies was efficient. And partly, it caused disgruntlement in the mainstream civil service. They see the other people as they were facilitated, independently governed. So it's like you have 2 layers of public service. So then people started pushing for authorities. Even this tea, I know you have so many questions for me on tea. One of the reasons, Madam Chair, that led us to conclude the tea policy. The tea policy was proposing the formation of a tea authority. So now, and the argument you have now is tea authority, cocoa authority, banana authority. So now as a MAIF, we are thinking of one policy for the beverages, and we would be working along with you. Of course, ministers, more efficient, more workload. Yeah, we'll have to be up to our task. If we are not up to our task, they will replace us with other people. So that's really, you have to pray for us, and I will pray that some of you get these tasks so that you can feel it and know how it is. Same concerns were raised by my brother Honorable Nyongore. And but also the inefficiencies in MAIF. Not that I'm trying really to defend the sector I'm in. Where we are weak, I know, and I admit our own issues, as we have always discussed them candidly. But the reason why MAIF has been really absent in it's budget issues. You pass the budget. This mechanization you hear, just imagine distributing 150 tractors to the whole country. 150 tractors, the whole country. You are here, you are there. Just imagine, this quarter you have 0. The next quarter, which is the last quarter, you get like 15 billion. And you must construct various tanks in the entire country. So that's why we tend to concentrate in Karamoja, Northeast, the most vulnerable. The other day, Parliament said, we don't want a report on Karamoja and Teso, we want a report on the whole country. So maybe my consolation is that if we now amalgamate, the resources will come into one envelope and we can create more impact. And we can build synergy amongst ourselves. Because an agency has a board. They take independent decisions, they do their own work plan. The ministry, you have your top management. So sometimes duplication is there. Whether colleagues you agree on it is there. Yes. So that's what convinced the leadership of the country. And the NRM, you are also NRM. Yes. And some of you are allies of NRM. We cheer you. And please continue. I hope we can. But these worries of yours are not lost colleagues. They can still be raised. We can still discuss these in our caucus. We can discuss them in our cabinet. The fears you have. Maybe like, I'm not in energy, but the experience with REA, why we're having, it's because REA was resolved maybe before a replacement unit was created. I think that could have been the problem. Honorable Isodo, it was not a MAIF brainchild, no. It was a collective government policy. And when it came to, because every sector was affected in equal measure. So it's not that we are the ones who said we want to divorce and kill our children, no. But when a policy has come, you have to prepare yourself on how you fit within it. Losing the jobs, we'll try as much as we can to ensure that, because like coffee, those people have expertise in grading of coffee. coffee testing. We really can't afford to lose them. Otherwise, it would be a big loss. My shadow minister colleague, Madam Nyakato, tea issues. Now, tea, coffee, these are the same issues Honorable my neighbor from Wenge raised. I think their issues are just even beyond agencies. We could consider taking them out of the PDM policy, and we treat them as standalone strategic crops where government can intervene. Because that's where my hands are tied now. Because if the factories are making losses, we need to intervene and give them subsidies. Today is tea, tomorrow is coffee, the other day is maize, or traders selling grain in South Sudan. So strategic interventions in key sectors that stimulate the economy can be looked at. Even as I talk today, Madam Chair, the tea paper is in cabinet. My colleagues are handling it, Honorable Bright and Honorable Chakulaga. I hope we will get a way forward. Certificate of financial implication, I think it's a standard document, but if it's lacking certain things, Ministry of Finance can clarify. It can clarify and be clear on it. I think they gave a generic one for the entire policy documents. Honorable Mums are the same issues, and General Kavuma, Honorable Kavuma, we raised our worries as Maif. I can tell you there was even a proposal, before I was not in Maif, there was a proposal to even Nagurik to be together with Naro. Yes, but it was justified that Naro does the research and Nagurik does the multiplication and the dissemination of the research. So, where cabinet could be convinced, some agencies could be saved. Where the appeal from the ministry was not accepted, so you could lose the point. Honorable Jennifer, we will serve Western Nile, and we are serving Western Nile. The colonial distortions of misleading people on tobacco are known. Surely, the ecology of northern Uganda and Western Nile supports other commodities. It's not for tobacco, it's not for even cotton growing. And we can still intervene. If we manage to have strategic interventions for coffee, for tea, for fisheries, and not lump them under the PDM, that's where the problem is, Madam. And this problem is there whether you have the agencies or not. Yes. So I pray that we can make a case on having funding for these agencies, and we will be able to come in. The fears of SCDP, we've discussed these ones. These were historical poor design issues of the projects. We've been trying to correct them. Yes, what will be the titles of these people?
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
A very good afternoon to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for coming, joining us. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomo, and this is what we have for you this lunchtime. Now, in our first story, residents in Lunguja have identified one of the suspects in the gruesome murder of Omutakalwomwa engineer Bossa Daniel yesterday as a born of the area. According to a local leader, one of the murderers is a born of Bulange zone around Lunguja. Meanwhile, it is still a somber mood in Lunguja as the community continues to mourn the gruesome murder of the late Luomwa. A police forensic unit continues to assess the scene of crime as mourners still flock the deceased's home.
Omu bamukubiddewo ne bamutta twakategeera nti nzaalwa ya mu Bulange n'amannya tugategedde nti ye Enoka maama we yakafa ali mu zooni bbiri Bulange omwo omulala akyaliyo e Mulago tubajjayo ng'akyalina akassa era akyaliyo e Mulago balwana bwezibira okulaba nti awona basobole okubakutyabade babiri bwe bamuyisizza ne bapaakinga wano piki ow'emmundu n'avaako n'amukuba kibayitira nti onaba bayingidde mu lupawulo okuba adde ku piki n'akulaba
Yes, we'll give you more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Now, according to the NRM Electoral Commission chairperson, Dr. Tanga Udoi, the party chairman, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, will officially launch party register update exercise as well as roadmap this Wednesday, the 28th of February, 2024 at the party secretariat. From plot 10, the president will also head to 13 to flag off the national delegates and registers who are starting and registrars who will be starting a 2 days induction tomorrow, Tuesday, 2020, on the 27th.
Yes, I'm ready. Party called NRM has started its process towards 2026. On Friday last week, we met the chairman of the party as secretariat, discussed details on our roadmap. We released the roadmap sometime for party structure elections, but we had not launched the registration process. So this week is the launch of the registration process. Tomorrow, we are getting our delegates from the districts. That's the district chairpersons, NRM district election officers or registrars, NRM administrative secretaries, and ONC coordinators from all over the country. The registrars are coming, not the assistants. I want to make that clarification. So they are coming to be taken through a training session on how they will handle the registration of members in the NRM register, which will start or which will kickstart after the launch on Wednesday. His Excellency the President and Chairman of the party will be at the Secretariat on Wednesday the 28th, possible around 10 a.m. to launch the registration process, and thereafter he will come to plot 13, which is the home of the NRM Electoral Commission, to address the invited delegates and other supporters. It is going to be a high day, an exciting day for the party, because what has dogged the party for a long time is a register. This time round we have had time, we have got resources, and we are going to move in early to register members, audit the register, and make sure that what we have by 2026 is a final product.
Police has barred members of parliament, led by the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi, from inspecting the construction works of Lubowa Hospital. According to the MPs, they had driven to the hospital construction works to assess the progress.
Minister of Health, who is in charge of this project. The minister knows who is keeping, whether it be Arrow Boys, SFC, police, I don't know, I don't care, who the minister deployed here to secure the place. That's not my business. My business is with the minister and the Ministry of Health. They are the ones in charge of this project. Because why should I inform the IGP about visiting a hospital, which is being constructed by the Ministry of Health? Is it police constructing the hospital? It's Ministry of Health. And the minister has written earlier that to be completed. The first date was June 2020. That date came and passed. They extended to 2021. That date passed. They asked for an extension to September 2023, which is last year. It has passed. And they keep getting money for this project. So we said now 3 deadlines have passed. Let's come and establish what's going on. In December, they came with a supplementary of 2.7 billion shillings to be used to supervise the ongoing works. So we said, firstly, who exactly is getting that supervisory money? But also, we said, let's come and establish what these billions of shillings have been doing. Because when the Minister of Finance was in Parliament, he said it on record that so far, they have spent 113 billion shillings. But the records we have show that it's a lot more. So he was not telling the entire truth. Some records show you 286 billion shillings so far. Others talk about 300 billion shillings plus that has been spent here. So we want to establish what exactly is going on. Of course, when you see, there's clearly no structure. But we said, let's enter. Maybe they have been building an underground hospital, which we want to go and check out, so that we go and tell the taxpayer that this is what we have seen. Maybe your money is being put to good use.
The Rotary Club of Bukoto has donated an assortment of scholastic materials to Chisule Nursery and Primary School in a bid to promote reading culture among learners.
Reading is a bedrock of a learner's personal, social, and academic success. Inculcating the learning culture, however, requires concerted efforts of stakeholders, including organizations such as Rotary clubs.
Reading today has become very rare. People do not read anymore. And it is important that every school starts this basic reading skills right from their schools, from their classes, even from homes, because we need, the reading culture is dying, and we need to inculcate a reading culture within our younger generation.
Through the Basic Education and Literacy Enhancement Program, Rotary Club of Bukoto has gifted Kisule Nursery and Primary School with an assortment of reading.
The whole idea about reading and being literate.
Earlier, the team read stories for the learners as a vehicle of lowering them into appreciating and adopting the reading culture.
Yes. Because she didn't know there were tangerines in her basket, and the two friends enjoyed the tangerine. Do you like the story? Yes.
The school management lauded Rotarians for the gesture.
Previously, the books were there, but not as much. But when they gave us that donation, it made our library better and better. Because now we have better and better. Because now we have many books that the children can pick from. Previously, there were few.
Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
The youth, especially those that have just left school, have been advised to value time and education. This was a message during celebrations following UCE performance at Katikamu SDA Secondary School.
Help your students become human. I read somewhere, I think at the paper, which is true, that there is a difference between human being and being human. Fair teachers, your efforts must never produce learning monsters. Your efforts should not produce skilled psychopaths. Your efforts should not produce educated illiterates. Reading, writing, and
their own children because of a girl child empowerment. She's empowered, she has a good job, she's everything, at home she's the husband, at the same time, a mother. This call goes to our parents. Meanwhile, as we celebrate with our girl children, let's also look at our boys. Biblically, a home is a goodbye. Amen. Amen.
We are here on the same ceremony while dedicating our students in the hands of God. And today we have just been celebrating their results as well as giving God a thanks. We are really grateful, and we do this to show our young ones that even after making it, we must go back to God. You know, it is very much easy for people to ask God to get what they need, but sometimes they find challenges in coming back. And so we want these young ones to develop a heart of gratitude, that the results that you got, they are not by your own making, but God was there to help you.
Let's take a short break. On return, we'll have more.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock on my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Junko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu kano kalippagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripsi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu ya Uganda.
UBC Lunchtime Business News. Brian Kayongo, the CEO of Concept Real Estate, has advised entrepreneurs not to procrastinate if they are to unlock success. He was addressing entrepreneurs at the C-Suite Executive Breakfast, where our reporter was.
other investments, you cannot define with them with appreciation. This building can be here for 30 years. You think when you come back it's going to be... If this property is sold for $50 million, I don't think 10 years from now it will be sold for $50 million. It will be $60 million. This is an asset which moves with inflation. As inflation grows, this asset grows. Because it's all about inflation growth and it's all about the stability of demand and supply. So in this position, this property is growing with two concepts, appreciation and cash flow. If it's not cash flowing, the devaluation of it will happen. Is it cash flowing high or low? That's how you can determine why real estate is the biggest investment everyone should have in part of their real estate portfolio, in their investment portfolio. I know people invest in stocks, bonds, and all other assets, but real estate, I will encourage you, is not also one thing which I want to teach people. Real estate is not something that you're going to achieve success tomorrow. It's something which grows gradually.
The Diplomatic Students Union of Cavendish University, Uganda, held their diplomatic dinner and under the theme, celebrating cultural diversity, fostering peace and stability through diplomacy.
There is no conflict here in Cavendish University. I think that we can't avoid any conflict. What we can avoid is a bad way to resolve these conflicts.
The Diplomatic Students Union of Cavendish University, Uganda, expressed their commitment to promoting cross-cultural understanding and cooperation through this landmark event.
Technology alone cannot solve the problems that we have. We have social problems that need social solutions. And like I've mentioned, you cannot solve the problem of peace and conflict without involving society.
So, food sufficient, food security, first of all, because we have to feed our children and our society. Second thing, we have to promote our technology. We have to try, because you know that you look at some of the young boys like you, when they are looking job in their country, if they are not get job here, they are running to the West.
Thought-provoking panel discussions on the role of cultural diversity in fostering global peace and stability were dissected.
If you tighten your belt, it will be where Uganda is seated, the Pearl of Africa, where it is seated. But the other part will be in Kenya on the Indian Ocean and in Congo the Atlantic Ocean. So some of us who have attended the geopolitical dynamics of those days and the doctrines of the powers that be at that time, that was very critical. Why was it critical? The question was, where would the next war be? Should you allow the next war to be in the Atlantic, or you rather have it in the Indian Ocean?
People had said, UPDF, the American forces had been kicked out of Mogadishu. You, UPDF, are you willing to go to Mogadishu? When the Peace and Security Council, backed by the UN Security Council, said yes, for us as Ugandan diplomats, we felt the pride that Uganda was taking the first responsibility to deliver an African solution to an African problem.
The Diplomatic Students Union of Cavendish University, Uganda, under the Faculty of Social Economic Sciences, expressed their commitment to promoting cross-cultural understanding and cooperation through this landmark event.
My name is Colonel Edith Nakarima Asuzwa. I head the State House Investors Protection Unit established by His Excellency Retired General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. The Uganda Electronic Investors Protection Portal is a digital platform that empowers investors to get authentic information, make inquiries, report, verify, and receive feedback. The Electronic Investors Protection Portal serves all existing and prospective investors, both domestic and foreign, as well as the general public, through enabling whistleblowers to report any concerns about investing in Uganda. The electronic portal guides investors with important and necessary information on investing in Uganda. It also offers a quick reporting and enforcement mechanism while ensuring real-time feedback. The Uganda Electronic Investors Protection Portal gives you access to authentic information and resources that are designed to help you make informed investment decisions and avoid common pitfalls.
To access the portal, log on to protection.statehouseinvest.go.ug or visit our website www.statehouseinvest.go.ug. Email us on info@statehouseinvest.go.ug or call us on 0326 100630. Visit our office at Lumumba Avenue, Plot 51B, Nakasero Hill, Kampala, Uganda. The State House Investors Protection Unit, empowering investors.
Thank you so much for watching. The Uganda International Badminton Challenge climaxed last evening at the Lugogo Indoor Stadium in Kampala with the Vietnam's Le Duc Phat winning the men's singles title, while Akashi Keshab winning the women's title.
Vietnam's Le Duc Phat ranked 86th in the world badminton's men's ranking, and Akash Kashyap from India ranked 40th in the world badminton ranking, were the stars of the 2024 Uganda International Badminton Challenge, as they all went away with 4,000 points each for winning their respective singles.
It's the first, I'm very happy because my performance very good in this tournament, and I not too much. I just try my best to play, and I will keep spirit for the next tournament. Yeah.
It really means a lot because I haven't won an international tournament for such a long time. So definitely I'm really happy, and also this was my second time in Uganda. So yeah, I'm happy that I have grabbed the winner's title. Definitely it has been added in my rankings, and it will help me to qualify for the Olympics.
Africa's top seed, Juan Opeyeru of Nigeria, who was outshone by Le Duc Phat in the semi-finals, was still excited to make it that far in the tournament.
I feel very achieved because this is my first time in the semi-finals in the international challenge. I've been dreaming about getting to the podium. Every time I play in Uganda International Challenge, it's always a quarter-final for me, every time. Even at home, it's always quarter-final. That is always my bus stop. But this time around, I was able to make a breakthrough, and it was also a very important point for me towards the Olympic qualification. So I'm very happy, elated, and very much achieved.
While Uganda, who were the organizers, did not make it past the quarterfinals, they were happy for the lessons, as the Badminton Confederation of Africa commended the country for successfully hosting the event.
We expected our players to put on a good fight. As coach, I appreciate what they did, and the work we have to do is a lot, and I'm sure it will happen with time.
The level has been exceptionally high. We are happy, first of all, for Uganda being able to host such a big tournament with a record of 49 countries all over the world coming. This is a special event for us because, first of all, it's part of the Paris 2024 Olympics Games qualification tournaments. That's why you are seeing a lot of players from all over the world coming in. The level, of course, has to be very high, but our takeaway home is that for the first time, we've had an African player going to the semis and getting a silver medal.
The tournament, sanctioned by the Badminton World Federation and also an Olympic qualifier, ran from February 21st to 25th at the Lugogo Indoor Stadium in Kampala, Uganda.
And in basketball, Uganda concluded their first window of the 2025 Afro-Basket qualifiers with a 71-59 defeat against Libya on Sunday in Tunisia. This loss came following a mixed performance in their opening two games, where they fell to Cape Verde 78-73 on Friday, but managed to secure a 72-62 victory against Nigeria on Saturday. Star player Robinson Opong, who had delivered a stellar performance with a record of 39 points against Nigeria, struggled to find his rhythm against Libya, managing just 6 points off 3 of the 17 shooting from the field. While the City Oilers duo of Toned Rileba and Ivan Muhwezi combined for 31 points, the lack of scoring depth proved to be a challenge for the Silverbacks, with no other players reaching double digits. Titus Lowell, Emmanuel Wamala, Brandon Sebirumbi and James Okello were the other scorers in the game. Throughout the game, Uganda struggled to maintain control, allowing Libya to capitalize with 13 steals and establish a significant 17-point lead at one juncture. As they head into the second and final window of qualifiers in November this year, Uganda faces an uphill battle with 1 win and 2 losses under their belt. However, coach Mande Juruni remains optimistic about the team's prospects, especially with key players like Ismail Wainwright, Captain Jimmy Enabu and Arthur Kaluma expected to play a part.
Easy money. This is badly, and they've got...
That brings us to the end of what we had for you this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lokoma. I'll be here myself for news tonight, but still don't miss Kiswahili, Luganda, and all our bulletins in the evening. Enjoy the week. Bye-bye.